take their human skins, their vaginas, and their whole upper torso.
Cut out the whole middle part.
Yeah, and make a woman's skin suit and dance around in the moonlight.
Right, which another character in Silence of the Lambs did.
Yeah, so this guy was one of the worst serial killers of all time. I did a story yesterday in the news that someone had stolen the headstone.
Right.
Now, my next caller, Michael, and by the way, that's not his real name, has the headstone.
Really?
Yeah. He's saying that it came into his possession. You were not part of the theft, were you?
No, sir. I am 100% not guilty.
Right.
Welcome to an exciting episode of Deadly Horizons Halloween week. We like to keep it spooky. Sharon's back from vacation. Welcome back, Sharon.
Hey, how are you all? I escaped the asylum.
Escaped the asylum. She might give us a little bit of insight on her. She kind of infiltrated a certain facility for some background stories for us. And even most importantly, we have Shane Bugbee, if I said that correctly, joining us today. Thank you, Shane. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm excited, and I'm full of anxiety. Anytime I do something like this, I'm anxiety, but that's not a bad thing. It's fun.
No, me too. No, the same. That never goes away. You want to make sure you make the right questions. And I've gone down the rabbit hole of your YouTube, so I feel like I know the do's and don'ts, like things not to ask you, things to ask you.
I didn't know I had things not to ask me. I'm pretty open. What are the things you shouldn't ask me? Tell me.
It was I think one of them says like you're on. I think it was a podcast. You were just talking with your friends about. That's like, please describe yourself. Introduce yourself. And like that's the interviewer's job to know about you and to talk about you.
It is.
And I don't know if I should ask you now or later. I was going to ask you what's your favorite salad dressing.
Oh, of course, blue cheese. I just smother my salads in blue cheese. I love blue cheese.
I love it. Yeah,
that one. Okay.
Yeah, I actually do love blue cheese, but that's funny.
I love blue cheese mixed with Thousand Island. It's a weird mix. I'm mixed up.
Okay.
Half the salad is Thousand Island, half is blue cheese.
I'm going to try that. That sounds great. I had a new mix of putting
is that the moldy cheese?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It is.
Yep. I'm not fond of cheeses, so.
Are you a vegan? I shouldn't have seen that.
No, not vegan. No. I eat meat. I eat cheese, but I'm just not fond of it.
Not to
I
be
am
sexist.
too fond of it.
Seems like a guy thing. I've never met a female. I can't. I'm going to stop now. I'm going in trouble.
I love pizza, so it's like hard not to love cheese. With
right.
I love pizza. Yeah.
That one thing right there eliminates my any ever quitting cheese.
And I like stinky
We can't
cheese.
have a pizza without cheese.
That's right.
And we won't talk about pineapple because that will segregate everybody. But so we're here for this book here. This book. Sharon, am I allowed to cuss on this show?
Yes, you are.
This book is fucking amazing. Okay.
Really?
Oh, yes. It is incredible. It's funny, like, and we could talk about the Dorothea Puente cookbook. I'm aware of that. I'm like, that's him. It's funny that the people that, I watch YouTube videos and books, and then I don't realize who they are until I put the pieces together. Like I've been following you with not even realizing it for a long time.
That I love to hear.
Yes. I saw this on Instagram in your advertising because I'm a sucker for these things. I love this kind of stuff right here. Membership cards.
Yeah.
Yes. And I got
that white powder at the bottom. Don't ignore that.
Ignore the white powder on the bottom. You have to organize your That's how I for my flour. And when I'm doing my pizza crust, it's great. It pieces it. And I got a cool sticker. And I got a fun button. I love buttons. I don't know if you can see it. And there was a bookmark in there too, which was very thoughtful because I
made that button with this.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then, the bookmark. So I'm a gimmicky guy. I like true crime books. Ed Gein's been a favorite subject of mine, yours, everybody else's. It's Ed Gein season. with Netflix. So I bought it. And I mean, and the advertiser, you're going to sign it. I'm like, I love signed books. He said it was heavy. It was about 800 pounds, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was
It's
that.
very heavy. And then you put 15 out of 33. Is that author's proof?
Yes, you can't see it on your screen, but it is
No.
AP is artist proof or author's proof.
Yeah.
Those were the copies I was sent. They're a different size than the one you'd get on Amazon. The Amazon one's it's square.
Oh,
and
that's
so those
special. Thank
you. It is. Those are
Yeah.
only 33 of those, and I sent them out to the first people who ordered.
Cool. I'm glad I jumped on that. So when I got it, I was okay. This is the dude that took the Tombstone. I was kind of curious, and Netflix, the Monsters series, dramatized it. I still liked it. In fact, I loved it. Okay. I know people don't like it. It's not factual. It was entertaining. And that's why I wanted to be. I was entertained.
Yeah, if you watch it not trying to compare it, just as a show on its own, it's a good show.
Yeah, I liked it even more than the Dahmer one. I relate that one too. It's,
So I saw the Dahmer one because so many people asked me to watch it, and I was like, "Oh, I don't watch that stuff anymore," solely because I've seen it all 10 times.
Yeah,
and I've also studied it. I've talked to people. I've talked to like Dahmer's parent and father. So I've studied this stuff like you are, as a journalist, like really got in and tried to ask the questions. And so after you do that for decades, you've seen 3 versions of the Dahmer story on film. It's like, I've seen enough. You only have one life. I don't want to keep seeing the same story over and over in my life. But the Dahmer one I thought was great. I thought it was great.
And we can nitpick that one too. But it's a composite. And I feel with the Ed Gein one, like the last 2 episodes, I thought it was really like a love letter to true crime enthusiasts and even pen pals. They had some nods in there that maybe not the normal folk would do. And in case you don't know, Sharon and I are huge pen palers of a lot of infamous people. And again, we call it merbilia because it sounds a lot nicer. And I got kids around. I don't like to say the murder part. So
I used to write all of those folks, not all the ones you're writing, but a bunch of the folks, like this is, excuse my language, 30 years ago or more.
Yeah.
We were doing that, collecting. We were collectors. It just it happened that way. We would write them and get the first one I wrote was Richard Ramirez, and so he was great to. He was great to. He was a great pen pal.
Yeah, and
he always was like, "I want Asian foot porn. Send me some Asian foot porn." So
that's funny. I mean, you're at the very beginning of collectors.
Oh yeah,
so there's some that started out, so in 2000 you stole Ed Gein's Tombstone.
And before that I was what was that?
Well, with a friend and a brother, if I remember correctly.
Well, my brother didn't go up there to steal it with me. He went up there I sort of did reconnaissance. Like I went up there to see what it was like, what was going on. And I didn't have the idea to steal it before we went up there. I just wanted to see the town. I wanted to be where the history happened. I wanted to see everything. And this is early internet, so there wasn't a lot of photos out there. There wasn't any, and there was some speculation as to whether the hardware store was still standing. So I wanted to go investigate. And we went up there and stood, saw that grave. And as my brother writes in the forward, he knew that I was plotting it right there. I was like, he was right. He knows me well. He's my younger brother. And he was absolutely right. I was like, man, I can get this.
It's quiet, right? There's nobody around. No one's going to know. They're not going to miss it. They go, oh, damn, they took our favorite town.
Once I saw the graffiti on it that says, I masturbate to your picture every day. I'm like, I felt bad for the town. I was like, this doesn't belong here. These people don't need that. But my friends do. My friends are going to love it.
So it was the true crime enthusiast, because that's huge bragging rights that any of us, we would lie if we wouldn't say we'd do it for bragging rights, and it's good promotion for your publication at the time. But then it turned into a mirror in a way.
Oh yeah, well, as people would say back then, I had the Mona Lisa of true crime collectibles. They were like, "That's the Mona Lisa. That's it." And I was like, I was thrilled to have it in my possession. It was very had a lot of energy to it. I felt, brought a lot of energy to the party.
I can only imagine as far as like paranormal energy or just
Well, who knows about that? I
Yeah.
wish I could say for certain it was that, but I know that it just when when I rolled that, I had it in my studio after I had it in my van for a while, and I'd roll it into the room as people were there, and they would just like light up, want to take pictures with it, touch it, talk about it. So it really it just it was everything I imagined it would be if I brought it to the right people. We are, for whatever reason, we're excited by these stories. We all have our own reasons why we're attracted to horror or these kind of stories, but we're excited by it, and when we get into the same room together, we talk about it. Not that we all have the same opinion, because we don't.
Very true. We all collectors. It's a small knit community. Even in your book, I was very pleasantly surprised where you do a comparison on serial killers versus collectors. And I thought that was it was a great comparison. I'm not buy the book. I'm not going to tell you people what it says in there. You got to buy the book. But you know what I'm talking about, right? As far as
I do, I break down. It was weird because when this happened, it was just like that book happened. I just started to write like an Instagram post because so many people were emailing me and messaging me saying, "You're in the Gein movie," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? What movie?" Had no clue. I don't have Netflix. I haven't seen the show.
Yeah,
but I love the clips and I love what I've heard of it, especially because it's not following a truth, and it's a dramatization and a fun one. But so many people messaged me. I said, "Oh, I've got to write something about this," and I started writing it and thinking about things, and it tied into mother issues, and I was like, I didn't really appreciate that, actually. and then I wondered what my psychology was collecting things. Like, is it similar? What's going on? So yeah, it was a deep dive into a lot of weird stuff.
It was a deep dive, and I did before I got to so at the very end, it does have a playlist recommendation. I was playing Dead Skin Mask on repeat the whole time I was reading it, because that is the ultimate Ed Gein song, you agree.
I do.
Yeah.
I like the band Macabre as well. I happen to personally know them, but Macabre's take on serial killers is fun. And I know that's weird to say, to some people that's weird to say, but for me it is fun. I don't know I can't defend myself. I can only tell you the truth is the matter. It's fun and funny to me. I have a good laugh.
We agree. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
But I feel bad for people who get anyone has a violent death. Of course, I don't like that. I don't wish that on. Well, I shouldn't say I don't wish it on anyone. I do wish it on my enemies, but besides them,
enemies may perish.
Yeah.
It's like in a horror movie. And Nightmare on Elm Street is based on somewhat of a true story, so it's we all enjoy that release.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, was that, or is it? I know Scream was based on a true story. Nightmare on Elm Street, it was based on his dreams he had as a kid, or seeing that creepy guy outside his window. My apologies. It's the Scream that's based on a true story. But it's a release, and it's a different brain that likes the macabre. But a lot of us, we're obviously not killers, and we don't support it, and we don't victim shame. But there's people that work in the morgues. There's people that work as doctors. So there's people that have a different kind of brain that can handle the macabre more than someone who watches football on the weekends. And
yeah, I don't know where mine came from, but I do know that I used to spend my summers at a funeral home, a family funeral home. I spent quite a few summers there, and would go out with Uncle Jim to pick up bodies from a hospital and the morgue at a hospital, and bring them back and watch the feet move in the rearview mirror. Not move. They weren't, but they were just rocking with the car. And I was like, whoa, this is weird. It was weird for a moment, but then you hear people like him or firemen or police officers like when I went up to see Gacy's plot of land when he was first had the killings, it was in the newspapers. And that was my first experience. And I rode my bike up there and would hear the police talking and making jokes, really dark jokes with the ambulance people that were taking things out. And so it was just became something like that. It's something to cope. I think it's a, coping mechanism for folks.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Definitely a coping mechanism. And I do have because some of you are selling, I do have my dirt from the grave and from the property. Assuming
I've got some of that, but I lost it.
I forget which website, some true crime website.
It's Ed Gein dirt?
Yeah.
I remember going up there when I took that stone. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't show the stone because I didn't want to get arrested. And I was like, this is so hot. I just have to figure out what to do with it,
Right.
how to use it to make the most of it. But I would sell Gein dirt, and eBay made a rule against it because the Gein dirt was selling like crazy. I was like, oh, this is great. So I appreciate seeing everyone doing that now, but when I was doing it, no one was.
Yeah, eBay. Because I do a lot of art. I do a lot of portraits of infamous people, and you can't even list their names on it. So how do you get it recognized? So yeah, unfortunately, but you could still see books on there. They'll have Charles Manson books. Book seems to be okay, but memorabilia doesn't seem to be.
Right, my Dorothea Puente book sells all the time on everyone. I don't sell it on there, but other people sell it on there, and it sells all the time. That book sells to this day very well.
I guess literature, they think it's more just for the curious. You're reading about it, but you're not trying to own a piece of crime history. I guess it's different.
With you're doing artwork, it seems to be the same because, like the book I did, I stole Ed Gein's Tombstone is an absolute piece of art because I didn't explore mother issues and share that with you because I wanted to.
Yeah,
it just happened and unfolded in front of me, and I was like, oh wow, this is just like when I make a sculpture. Or when I make a piece of art, and I'll show you one of my sculptures. Here's one of my sculptures.
Oh, wow.
And there's a picture of me as a little baby inside this monster. And there's my hair that I was losing in the back. And then if you look at it this way, it's actually a flower, a wilting flower. And so this didn't just happen. I didn't, it did just happen, but it wasn't like an idea I had. And then I made it. I started to make it, and then it became what it is. You know what I mean? I didn't have a sketch of this.
Right.
I just started, I just was in my studio and had a jar of my hair I'd been saving for like a decade. These family photos I just got, and they were laying in a pile, and I looked at this stuff and I was like, I can get 10 jars. I'm gonna make 9 of these things. And I had bare teeth and used all, so it just started to come together. And it was the same way that book came together. It came together. And I was like, oh, wow, it was interesting to me. So I thought I'd share it, but I didn't think anyone would take it seriously because it seems like a cash grab, which no doubt anything you're selling is, I'm not going to lie about that. It's for sale.
No, my first impressions was maybe it was a cash grab, but I was grabbed. I'm like, for anything, I'd say it's a short read. Just from looking at it, I'm like, it's going to tell his story. I don't know that story yet. And it's got some cool goodies with it. But then I was drawn into it. I'm going to read it again because I read it all last night. I powered through it, but I need to go back, especially with the last couple of pages, because it was pretty deep and heavy, and I need to go back and let that soak in a little bit more. Your Freud's totem and taboo. I'm going to go back and revisit that. And I believe you even called it a zine in a way. Is it kind of like a zine book? Sort of? I
come from a zine culture back in my day. This is pre-internet. We would make zines. And so that's where that comes from. I'm going to make a blog out of it, but it's basically, I'm going to make a zine out of it. In my mind, it starts to become a zine because it has so many photos, and I was like, oh, I can make a 4 or 8 page zine out of this. So I wanted to make a paper zine and share it online, and it just grew into something else. And then I talked to a couple contributors that are in there, and I was like, hey, you want to write something for this? And I asked my brother if he wanted to write a foreword, and he said, sure. And he wrote it, and I was like, oh, this is a book, a little book. This is cool. And yeah, so it just worked out to be that, but it is something like I put together as the collector that I am. Like I would be like, would I buy yeah, I would buy this in a second, and I wouldn't have to read it just because there's someone saying I stole Ed Gein's Tombstone. It's so ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous, and it's ridiculous. It's in that movie, and I just love I love to be a part of the ridiculousness of life. That's for certain.
It's popping up after all these years. I mean, back in 2005, you also had the Ed Gein truck that was pretty much he used back and forth. I don't know if he owned it. Was it the neighbor's truck that he would kind of frequently borrow?
There's a lot of rumors to it. And like nowadays, everyone wants receipts. And it becomes almost impossible to have a truth without a video of it. And so I went up there. So this person said it was Gein's truck, and he thought it was the truck that he used to move Warden's body. So he wanted to bring it on this tour with me. And he lived in Plainfield, and he moved to Plainfield and bought it from the person where Gein had his last meal, where he was arrested, was at this person's house. He was eating dinner and he came out and he was arrested. And so I went up there and spoke to this guy, and I think a quote of his is in the book, or it's at least on Ed Gein fanclub.com. There's a recording of him talking. I forget his name now, but I went up there and talked to him, and he made it seem like it was Gein's truck. Like, he told me the story. I went inside. I sat at the table in the chair that Gein sat in the last moment of his free life. So it was just it's an old town though. They weren't saving these things as mementos for Gein.
Right.
It was his family heirloom. And he's like, yeah, that's where Gein sat. And I go, is that the chair he sat in? He goes, yeah. So I go, I got to sit in it. And he thought he didn't necessarily appreciate that, but
yeah,
I just,
why?
yeah, right. I went over there and sat in it. Yeah. They were like a little upset about they definitely were mixed up about it. They weren't celebrating it for sure. I mean, they burned down his house.
That specific family did?
No, well, I wouldn't doubt it.
They're probably part of it.
A small town. I don't know. Like, I've lived in a few small towns and they become like one big family.
Yeah.
They all know each other's problems. And so it's a weird thing, right? Because they burned down his home and they weren't too keen on the history of it, but they kept his stone in the town. They respected him as a dead person, part of the Gein family. The whole family was buried there. So they let him be buried in their graveyard. So, not a lot of serial killers can find a place to be buried nowadays. I know Gacy, from what I understand, Gacy is buried in between his parents. His ashes, what was left of him, was buried in between his parents, but there's no grave marker.
I was going to say, who can we find nowadays? Nobody. I think everyone's been cremated.
Right, but no one cremated. But people get buried when they're cremated. They'll still have a burial plot but no one wants that in their no one wants that in their graveyard.
Lots of reasons, especially because it's especially today, the amount of attention it's going to get of folks coming out, vandalizing it, taking it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't his lawyer that actually set up the tombstone based on funds that
is that what happened?
I believe so. If I heard correctly, he's the one that set up the tombstone with some of the money that Gein made selling some of his items. If I recall correctly.
I did not hear that. I don't remember hearing that. Like back in the day, I knew everything about it. I know they said these are some new recordings of Gein that have never been released, and I could swear I heard them 25 years ago.
No, not so new to me. It's revisited.
Yeah, so I don't really remember all of the stuff. I remember what I experienced firsthand, and the Gein truck and the Warden family being really upset when this guy wanted to sell the Gein truck. They were threatening his life.
Wow.
I remember that, going in the Warden grocery store and buying a teapot that was from the day that like the days that she stocked the items. They were like, these are old. These have been here since she was here. And it was still a hardware store stocked with stuff. And it was the same layout. So it was neat to walk in there and walk at the aisle where she was, it was neat to see it, see that history, be walking on that floor. And I don't know. I don't think that's morbid. I think it's just journalistic, very much like a lot of the stuff you're doing.
That's
it's more
exactly what we call it, right, Sharon? I feel like, at least she has a degree in criminology. I have an art degree. I do call it, we're journalists without the credentials, perhaps. And people, they don't really see the validity of that. They might say, like, you guys are, promoting crime, you're supporting it. But, we're trying to document history. We pen pal inmates and seldom talk about their crime unless they want to, but it's more like a mental health check-in to find out, are they really being rehabilitated? And we're deep diving into actually the brutality of the prison guards and how they're treated in prison. And we're kind of talking with whistleblowers on that and think that's something that needs to change. So that's where we're at.
That's cool. That's cool study. For me, I could tell you I can give you an answer to that from the assistant state's attorney that put Gacy to death. So I worked with Gacy on a 900 number. I worked with Gacy putting out Question of Doubt. And I helped some people that were working with Gacy. Okay. It was like my mentor, Mike Johnson. So I helped him. And so I got to meet Gacy's nephew, was just like Gacy and all that. But to go back to the assistant state's attorney, he called me and said, Shane, I have some stuff for you, because Gacy's lawyer, his first lawyer, is a judge in Illinois now. And he contacted me because there was something in the newspaper about me and Gacy stuff. And he's like, I've got all Gacy's stuff from those days, his leather jacket, his wallet. If you want to, can you sell this for me? And I went down and saw it. It was in the storage area. It was like crazy to look through all this stuff. I have a picture of me in Gacy's jacket that he was arrested in. I got to play with the wallet, touch the receipt
Wow.
Yeah. So it was weird. So then the lawyer that put up the assistant state's attorney that put him to death calls me and says, I've got some stuff for you. And he gave me the original pogo photo. Like, everything you've seen is a picture of that picture. I had the real picture from Gacy's bar. And so I sat down and spoke with him, and I said almost the same thing you did. I said, a lot of people, I'm just an artist, and a lot of people say I'm glamorizing this stuff, but I don't see how that is. And he's like, you're a journalist just like these other people. You just don't make the money they do. He's like, you look at America's Most Wanted, which is a TV show that was very popular back then that day. And he's like, you look at that show, you're doing the same thing as John Walsh, but he makes $100,000 a show. You're making $100, so that's the difference between you and them.
Yeah.
And you're just asking questions like you, and he did an interview with me. It's on archive.org. If you find it, I think it's 3 Ring, or I did this true crime podcast 20 years ago called Crimecast. And it's a short burst of interviews and stuff like that. Gacy's neighbor, the Gein people. And I'm really proud of that. But I think the lawyer, the state's attorney, is on 3 Ring Radio. It's so long I forget, but it's up there for you to find.
We'll check that out. Thanks for that insight. And yeah, thank you for helping us, Phil. Because there's guilt behind it too. It's more social. Because when we talk with each other, and we have other friends, Scott and Jen from Sex, Love, and Serial Killers. So we have a group that, like, we support each other. That kind of takes us out of just being the loner, not feeling like they're fitting in like a true crime. We support each other. If we have an inmate doing some weird shit to us, we talk about it. So it's a good support group. And I feel that we take that journalism a next step as far as we have care for a lot of these people. We don't like what they did and we don't support it, but they're still human beings in a way, and they need to be treated as such, or as,
There's no doubt it's interesting, or there wouldn't be a multi-million-dollar, if not billion-dollar industry based on true crime, from CSI programs to Monster, the movie that we were talking about. There's a big industry based on it. And so that wasn't around when I was doing what I was doing. It's wild to watch how popular this stuff is now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you guys were kind of loners. You didn't really have much people to turn to. You're excited to have this item, this tombstone. And some people might be repulsed by it. Some are excited by it. So you have to take that chance of, or whistleblower, what happened eventually to you in Seattle, right?
Yeah, there's not too many people that came before me or a few of my friends that I can think of. We blazed the trails for that stuff, and I understand what you feel about feeling guilt or being attacked. But now it's you have so much more to work with because there's so many more shows. You could point to all this industry and say, there's an interest in this. I have the right to be interested, just like those Hollywood producers have a right to be interested. It usually comes down to like the concept of like always, if you're a poor person, you're not a journalist. If you're a woman, you're crazy. So it's always like marginalized things or people that, that's how they'll just pin it. Oh, this person's crazy. They're or they're stupid,
right?
Because you don't have a Ivy League education. But we're not. We're just interested, just the same as everyone else, and we probably ask better questions than people like that. I think that's why they're on the defense more than anything. Is the naive people like myself, or I don't know if you are, but I was naive getting into it. I was just like curious. I was just curious, and I wanted to ask questions. I wanted to learn about it. It wasn't like I was looking for a map to kill people. That's a pretty easy job to do. You don't really need a map.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, not my mindset. I didn't grow up in that type of household. I'm not going to bore Sharon with the 10th time of my stories.
But I don't think you have to. I grew up in a household. That's one of the things that bothered me about reading about Gacy, because we had a similar childhood. My dad picked on me, all this stuff. I was like, well, I don't feel like doing what he did. But they made it seem like every abused child is a serial killer, right. And it's like there's a lot of survivors out there that haven't turned to revenge at all. And they should sometimes have revenge.
They should. And
well, some victims should. Like there's sometimes everyone in the society looks at the situation and goes, that person should be put to death. So society says there should be some revenge on it. There's some horrible crimes out there, and there's no way to understand it. We can all try to understand it, but it's like way outside of the bounds of most humans agree with.
Yeah.
It's not like, well, he robbed the bank because he had no food. We can all understand. Oh, he's got children. He's starving. We understand that. Gein, we don't understand. He's a one of a kind.
Truly is. And now there's a debate, and I don't even care. He's a serial killer. He's not, because he doesn't fit the norm. He didn't have more than 2 that we're aware of.
Oh, I love that stuff.
Right? Who cares? He still kind of started it. He's a huge influence on movies and music, obviously.
I don't think serial has to be more than 2. You're doing something in a repetitive way. It's okay, we could say he's a ritualistic, satanic killer. What do they want? They want a different name for it.
I just think he's the ultimate, wet specimen creator. He's into oddities, and he was using human parts.
Yeah. He was an artist.
He was an artist. Yeah,
he was. He was a sculptor, that's for sure. I remember hearing an audio clip of a cop, and maybe it was at the end of the film Deranged, which is my favorite Ed Gein movie.
Yes, that's a great
one. And I think there's a short documentary at the end, and there's a cop, and I wondered if it was a real one, but he's like, he had the finest collection of nipples I'd ever seen. And I was like, you've seen another one?
Oh, yeah.
You've seen more than one? Wow. What a town Plainfield is.
The things that they would do back in the day that they don't talk about. He went a little over the edge. Like, it's okay, rob a grave, whatever. He can't kill the true, true value worker. He can't go into the town and take in the alive ones. But he wasn't really aware of what he was doing. I did kill? Yeah, Gein.
No.
Yeah, he didn't seem like he was aware of it.
I think he was. I would think like Helen Morrison, psychiatrist that worked with Gacy. She has Gacy's brain in her basement.
Yeah.
I interviewed her, and she said it's basically like a drug addiction. Once you do this, you repeat it. You're a serial offender. You continue to do it because of the drugs that go off in your body, the adrenaline and all these other things that happen. It makes you so high that you want that feeling again. You want to continue that feeling.
That's my love with my coffee in the morning. I dream about it. I can't wait to get up and drink it.
How are you not drinking it now? I drink it until I go to bed.
It's right here. I got it right there.
Here you go. Okay.
Yeah, I've got my coffee.
And water. I got to have a water chaser.
I love here. So do I. I got my water chaser. Grandpa has to have his water. Trust me. Where's my fucking water at? I had it somewhere.
Well, speaking of water break.
I thought I had my water over. Oh, jeez. I'm naked. I've only got my coffee. That's great. We all have our coffee. That's journalists. Now that's what proof we're journalists. We have the coffee.
Coffee club. Yeah.
If it was 20 years ago, it'd be a clove cigarette too. Then I had cigars, then a pipe, and then I don't smoke anymore at all.
A weed vape, a weed vape.
Yeah, little vape. Not anymore. I do have some sage right here. I could burn us some sage.
Nice.
I like the smell. So take us back to 2000. You guys just put this into the van. 3 of you, right? Or just 2? You said your brother
didn't. There were 3. There was 2 young men. They were probably 10 years younger than me. Let's say they were younger than me, and they were stronger than me. And one was a fan, and I would talk to him about this. He'd come over and help once in a while, pack orders. And I was like, I want to go do this. Would you guys help? And they said, yeah. And it was like they thought I was daring them. So he used his mom's like station wagon, like a mini station wagon. That's what it was. It wasn't a van. It was ridiculous. It wouldn't have looked good in that movie. It would have looked funny. What they did with the pickup truck was better. But so I told them I want to do this. And so I kept egging them on, and they went. We went up there and did it. And but when we got up there and did it, they were afraid. They acted, you could sort of tell, like they're acting, we can't lift it. I don't know if we can do this. I go, we can do it. We can do it. This is going to happen.
A true dad.
And Yeah, they said we couldn't do it, and I just I pushed the stone over on its side. It was in a concrete thing, and I hit it with a hammer and pushed it over on its side. And I'm sure the statute of limitations is up right now, so I could do this.
That's what I'm saying. You're probably okay to talk about it. We're all right.
And they didn't want to lift it. They were getting, scared, and their tones, we can't lift this. And I'm like, you're not even trying. And then I started yelling. You're gonna, at the top of my lungs in this small town, and it's echoing, and it scares them enough to understand you're gonna lift this, and we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna get caught because and I pick up the shovel. I threaten them with the shovel. I would have hit them, and we lift it, put it right in, and the car goes. It just sinks. It's like, oh man, I wonder if we're even going to be able to get out of this town with this thing. If the tires are going to rub on the, wheel wells, because it shrunk, and it was real obvious we were carrying something very heavy 4 hours back to Chicago, like the whole way on the interstate. I'm like, if any cop sees us, if I were a cop, I'd pull over and go, what do you got in the back? It's right down you got a, ATM in the back. What are you, a safe? It looks like we were carrying a safe. And
what are they going to do in the mountains?
Yeah, what are they going to do? Yeah, they're going to lift the blanket and see Ed Gein's tombstone. I masturbate to your picture every day. The jig is up. I don't even know how we got away with it because it was quiet. It was like a Monday night. Let's say the roads are empty. There's no distraction. It's just us on the highway, blazing down. 4 maybe 6 hours from Chicago. I can't remember the distance, but it was a long drive. Milwaukee was 2 hours. I think Plainfield was like 4 or more. And so this whole drive out of Wisconsin is on like highway road that are well lit. We're not on a dark side road. We're well lit, and the cars, back is. So I don't
adrenaline,
know.
I could feel it. That's what I was curious of, like that drive back, and just even leaving the town because are you going? Do you have to go through town? Can you go like?
Oh yeah,
the outskirts of it.
We had to go right through town. Through town. And then the idiot, one of these idiots I'm working with, is like, I'm sure it's been done 10 times. I go, no, this is it. I can tell you, oh yeah, it's been done 10 times. And then the next morning, it's all over international news. You want to talk about viral? It's in German. It's all over the place. I can't believe you got the Howard Stern clip.
Yeah, it's there. I just Howard Stern, Ed Gein, just searched that, and it's like a 6-minute. It just shows a picture of him because it must have been. I don't know if this is before he was on E, because I used to watch him all the time back in the day on E. He was the fucking greatest.
It was before satellite.
Yeah. So
I'm
he was
old.
just on the. Well, yeah. You look
I
good.
think
Like
we're
I said,
all
the beard. You don't look old, man.
I'm 57. If you're 47, I'm older than you. By 10 years is a lot when you're at 57. Will I make it to 67?
Well,
who knows? Will I make it to 77? I'm definitely past the 50% mark. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
45.
You look good for your age, man. You look good for your age, and much respect. I will call you sir. And you are the man.
I love that about getting old. I like getting old. I think it's great. I thought about this the other day. My birthday's coming up on November 9th. And it's like, I thought about, I'm getting old. And I'm like, it's really the one goal we all really have. All these other goals are bullshit in my life. I've made it. Have made goals happen, or I've failed with goals, but they didn't matter because getting old is the only goal all of us really have. We just want to get old. And so getting old is a good thing for me. I made it. I lived, like I said, I was stealing tombstones. I definitely lived fast when I was younger. I was looking for trouble.
And I promise you have a lot more adventures to do, but you have tons of adventures. And it's the stories. It's like the movies. It's like, I feel like I'm Stripes. I feel like I'm Bill Murray now. It's the stories you guys tell. You with that cow, you're a madman, but you and me together, forget about it.
I met Bill Murray. Bill Murray, his sister's from Streamwood, a town I grew up in. And so he had his sister's house across the street, and I got to meet him as a little kid. And he just pulled my Cubs hat down and said, you're going to have a sorry, sad life loving the Cubs, kid.
Yep. I can see him saying that.
Yeah.
And he said, no, Mr. Murray, I'm going to steal that Ed Gein's tombstone one day. He's all, you go for it, kid. You got it. That's awesome.
I was just looking at him. I was thinking, this guy works with Mr. Bill. I was a kid. I was a Mr. Bill fan. Sorry to take us off track.
No, this is how we work. But then a sad day of Seattle when it was taken from you.
Yeah, that sucked. I was prepared. I took it on that tour thinking it would probably get taken from us.
Yeah.
But I didn't suspect so soon at the first date. And
Was it like an albatross where you're kind of like hoping, like, I'm kind of done with this. Can someone take it off my hands?
I loved it. That was like, it was coming. I thought it's probably going to get taken. The cops are going to come for it. I don't know how the Wisconsin cops are going to get out there. They'll have to be the Fed. So I was contemplating what could happen. I never, imagined that would happen. But I was like, if it makes it through this tour, and I said it on Howard Stern, I'll bring it to the Museum of Death and it could be there on display.
Howard says he'll take it.
And so I thought it would last for all of us. Yeah, I thought it would last for all of us forever. I thought it would be out there forever. And I think it will be. I think they'll put it on display eventually.
And
I know where it's at. It's at the History Museum.
It was only part of it. Didn't you half it to make it easier to carry? So you had the good half, and then a friend had it, and it kind of got taken from you and probably sold. Do you think there's a big lump out there or chunks that they're taking in?
There are chunks out there. I know there's chunks out there. They get used or displayed here and there. They were taken from me. But when the cops came to take it, it was wild because they were like, it was great. I wish that someone was filming, but I was right in their face. I was like, I wanted to be arrested. I wanted that. That was one of my awards. I wanted credit for this motherfucking.
You want the notoriety?
Yes.
Got it. And no one would give me that. See, even today, I put the book out there, ignore it. They'll ignore it. They don't want to give me that. Because I have too much other stuff. Like I put out obscene comics, serial killer shit. I make fun of. I dance with the devil. They don't want anything like that in the media. I'll influence too many kids. They think. So it's like.
Well, I heard your Chicago parties are off the hook, and sometimes they come and they want to bust them up.
Oh, you heard? Yeah, the last one I did, there was two cop helicopters and 13 police show up. And the kid, it was wild, man. It was like a fun party. We were just having a good time.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, man, I was having one of the best times in my life. I was on mushrooms. Oh, it was great. These cops show up, though, and these kids outside, these Chicago kids, they were like, we're not leaving until Shane says we have to leave. And I go out there, and they're showing me their guns and all this. They're like, we'll fuck those cops. And I'm like, yeah, you guys could win this battle. Most likely, but the war you're going to lose. They're going to come down on, we don't want that. We don't want police smoke.
The army.
Yeah. I appreciate your strength.
Yeah.
I appreciate your that you want to stand on your business here, but I don't think it's a good idea. And so they did break it up, but it was a moment. It was so fun though. I could see why people were mad because we were all having such a good time. It was the first Witches Sabbath Walpurgis night I did. Yep. And I do that every year on April 30th. And I do it around the country. No, I don't do it just in Chicago because Chicago, anytime I brought black metal into the United States for the first time and police raided that event. The police is always raiding my events in Chicago, but in New York, Chicago, no. In LA, no. They don't even give a fuck give a care about it.
You're fine.
Yeah. Try not to swear so much.
No, that's all right.
I'll use the
all right.
I use the F word every other word.
I'm an Aussie, so we swear all the time.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Are you there? You're there now?
Yeah, in Australia. Mind blown.
Oh, neat. You guys are tough. No, Australians are tough. I'm from Chicago. We're tough people here. And I think about tough countries, and I'm like, Australia, I wouldn't want to fuck with Australians. They'll kill you.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
We like to drink, but yeah.
Yeah. And I'm over here, easygoing Colorado. We got some crazy shit. We got Aurora and Columbine and John Bonet and Chris Watts' house, which I go there monthly. Little pilgrimage there. So
who's that one?
Chris Watts?
Yeah.
He's the guy that unalived his pregnant wife and 2 girls for a mistress.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. I like I said, I sort of after BTK, I stepped away from everything. I don't even want to hear about it because it was just like I've heard all about it.
Yeah, I get it. You have to take a break, and there's days that we have to take a break because we talked to a lot of the inmates on the phone, and sometimes they'll like 3 or 4. They'll call. I'm in bed. I'm like, no, I can't do this. It's stressful. It's good to talk with them, but.
I think part of, for me, like you talk about, you're trying to explore how the prisons treat people. And like we talked about one of your friends, like I said, he probably shouldn't be in prison. He should be in a hospital.
Yeah.
So we have this compassion for these folks. And I think, like, for me, it came down to the idea that no one else cares. No one with power cares. We're looking at, like, how can we fix this, or what's gone wrong? What's happening here?
Yeah.
How did, like, school shootings start? We used to be school suicides. When I was younger, it would be like someone would kill themselves and 4 more people in school would kill themselves. And the next town over, that school would start killing themselves. So it was like this plague of suicides. And then that grew into school shootings. So I was very interested in that epidemic. And it seemed like no one else was interested in it except for media exploitation. No one was into learning why this happens and how can we fix that. No one cares. And so for me, no one with power and money and that can do anything cares, I should say. We care, it seems. You two seem to care.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like us explore this stuff and care. But the people who have power or money to change things, or the scientists of it, they just don't. Something about it just became like, it's for me, I saw it as, oh, this is just another cog in the wheel of industry. Like, they make money off of this. Not only the media and industry, but the FBI, the cops, the prisons. It's all about profit. And so if they fix a problem, they no longer profit off the problem. That's what our society seems to be, is like, as long as we're sick, they profit. And so that sort of drove me away from it. I was like,
yeah, I could see that stress, because it's a force that you can't reckon with. You can't go against the legal system. And the story, also, me wanting to get into it, is the story is usually wrong. I'm just watching today an episode on Todd Kohlhepp. I don't know if you know who Todd Kohlhepp is.
No.
He was a supposed serial killer from South Carolina, but he definitely has issues. But just hearing his story secondhand, because I've talked to him, I've helped him with his book. Just hearing people, and maybe they don't mean it, they're just repeating what they hear from the news outlet. But they're getting the story all wrong, and this is what people are going by. So you're setting up someone that did some evil things. You're making them more evil than maybe that they really were. They're saying that there were signs that he was going to be a serial killer because he did animal torture as a kid. And he says, what they're talking about is my fish, my goldfish that I had, and I wanted to clean the tank, so I put bleach in there as a kid, and I thought the bleach would clean the tank. But it killed the fish. And the story becomes, he's an animal killer. I'm like, I knocked over my sea monkeys as a kid, and I bawled my eyes out. Not that I could see them, but does that make me a potential killer because I killed my sea monkeys?
Yeah, but how many kids have done that and stepped on a frog just to, like, and didn't realize what they were, they did. They just it's like, the frustrating thing about being older, you could tell someone, don't step on the frog, don't step on that frog, kid. They're going to touch the fire to see it's hot, no matter how much you tell them don't touch the fire.
Yep.
So it's like, how many kids have done something like that? A lot. Like, it's like what I said with the Gacy stuff. Like, how many kids have been abused? They didn't become serial killers. So it's weird to chalk things up to, he killed a puppy dog when he was younger. Yeah. A lot of people do.
Yeah, unfortunately. Accident, not an accident. Doesn't mean that they're going to continue down that path.
Right.
I
remember a friend of mine threw a kitty cat across the room and broke its neck, and he felt really bad about it.
Yeah.
But he wasn't, I went over to his house. He told me he's feeling bad. He's like, what happened? He's like, oh, I did this and I feel really bad about it. He just didn't realize, no matter how much you think he did, I don't think he realized what he was doing, or he did and tried it out and he found out that it doesn't feel good.
Maybe he was throwing the cat because apparently they always land on their feet.
Yeah. He's testing out the 9 lives theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it's from 5 stories up, it's not going to make a difference. Yeah. Poor kitty. So, where do we think it's at now? I mean, I thought I heard it was at the sheriff's office in Plainfield.
No, the last time I heard, what I've heard is it's in the basement of the history museum there. That in that county of wherever Plainfield is, they have a history museum, and it's in the basement. Yeah. And they don't. I know that there was someone working there that made a few grave rubbings before they were stopped. So that's what I heard.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bet you I'm right about that, because I took the stone and I had some interest in understanding where my stone went. Because I called the police when it happened. I was like, I want my stone back. The guy's like, what? And I go, yeah, I want my stone back. I'm coming up to, he goes, you come up here and get it. And I was like, the guy, Dennis Hoff, he ran a bunny ranch in Reno. It was a legal prostitution place.
Oh,
And he's
yeah.
like, Shane, I will pay. We will get limos. We will bring the girls out there. We will go pick up that stone. He wanted to be part of the publicity.
Of course.
Yeah. Never
Why
happened.
not? Yeah, I'd be part of the story as long as.
Why not? But why? You're running a prostitution place. Why you need to be attached to Ed Gein's tombstone? I just didn't understand. I didn't really understand that one, actually. I was like, okay, I'm fine with it. You're bringing the limo and women. Fine.
That could word out your clientele. That might say, I don't know. That's the place that's got the Gein stone.
Maybe they want to use it to wank on the tombstone.
Oh, they want to wank
Extra.
on it. Yeah.
It did say I'll masturbate to your picture every day. Maybe maybe you're right.
Yeah.
It is.
You get the Gein room special. That's awesome.
That went crass.
And that museum is where I think it's where he was held when he was first arrested, right? And
Is it? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. Because
It's neat.
I was thinking that too, because there's another podcaster, it's the Paranormal Files. I think they were there recently, and I was trying to rewatch it today because I thought maybe they showed it, but they have like one of his rifles there, Ed Gein's rifles. They have like his knife there, so they have some of his stuff.
I saw that. I think we're seeing the same video, and they had some books on the table. I want to bring my book up there and hide it in some places up in that museum. And I really do want to go to that museum and see like if there's a door that's unlocked to the basement, I'm going to walk right down there and look for it. I don't give a fuck. Like they're going to they're not stopping me. I just walk down there.
Well,
I'll say I can't hear today. My hearing's bad. I wish I would have heard you.
The powers that be. So there's a inside plan that we want to do. We want to do a pilgrimage over to Milwaukee and to Plainsville, because there's a collector. I don't know if you know his name, Jeffrey Pagel. He's kind of, you probably, because you're not in the true crime stuff. He's kind of famous because he's hyperstophilia, I think, as you also mentioned in your book. So he writes female pen pals, and he actually dates a lot of infamous female killers. And there's the selfie killer who is getting out, and he was actually in the facility with her. And when he got out, they would pen pal quite a bit, and he would date her.
He was a prisoner?
No, a mental health facility. She was a prisoner.
He used to be a guard.
Yeah, he used to be a guard.
Oh, okay.
But he's also had mental health issues. And
okay.
They were, correspondence back and forth. He'd get a lot of artwork from her. But, her recent retrial for parole, his name came up quite a bit because they said that he was kind of a bad influence on her. So we're watching this court TV, and they're saying Jeffrey Pagel. And he's also talks to Taylor Ship Business. Me never heard of that name either. No, she packed up her boyfriend and did some stuff to him while he was not alive, necrophilia kind of stuff. So he talks with her too. And she gave him a map of her area. He thinks that there could be bodies buried out there, or maybe animals. But we had a plan that we're going to go out there and help him kind of document this and go discover these little, dug up things, and go to Milwaukee, go to Plainville. So I'm just saying that if we're out there, we'll hit you up and let's go hide your book up there.
I would love that. I would love that. I hope you do something like that.
Yeah.
You build a book or something for the future,
Yeah.
It's cool stuff to as like I said, as journalists or artists, it's cool to document that kind of stuff. I think, especially because it's not being documented probably as it should.
Not as much. There's good podcasts out there, and they'll interview people, but I think it needs to be more exploratory. Take it back on the road, and a la what you did. It's not, you will always be, the godfather, the guru of the pilgrimage to these sites, and getting it documented.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun doing it. There's no doubt. I really had a good time doing all that. I cannot lie. I had a great time doing it.
You still have any pieces left? Any grave rubbings?
I do have. I don't have any grave rubbings. I've sold all of them, but I do have some pieces of stone somewhere. I don't know where they are. I shatter them, make them into small slivers, and make them into necklaces. I've done that before. I've sold them. I've sold the dirt before. I have some Dorothea. I don't have a lot of stuff left. I've sold all of it. I used to have Eileen Wuornos's prison shirt.
Yeah,
I had a lot of cool stuff. I had a lot of cool stuff. I had Gacy's last painting. What?
You just kind of piece things out as time goes. You kind of just don't want to hold on to it anymore.
Well, yeah, it takes. it takes money to hold on to collections. It takes, a stable life. I don't have that as a underground artist. So it's like, I've actually been run out of towns more than once, and that's not a fun thing. And so you lose things along the way. And with this stuff also, I'm not the best at holding on to things like that. I don't care for it. It'll sit in a box. And one of my beliefs in my religion type of thing is I don't own anything. It just passes through my hands. So I enjoyed Gacy's last painting until I didn't. And then I wanted to put it in a box somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, I should sell this and take the money and buy something else I'm going to enjoy rather than hold it for no one else to be able to enjoy it until I maybe never see it again. Who knows how that'll end up, if you die or whatever, house burns down. So I like things to flow through my life versus holding on to it. I don't really like holding on to things. And that's why as a sculptor, I don't like making sculptures because they're hard to sell. They're hard to store. I would rather just give them away. I want them to get out. I want them to have a life of their own.
That's where I'm at. It's hard for me I don't mind. I like selling to people that I don't like, as far as like accepting money from people I don't like. Like the government, give me some money. Some businessman that's an asshole or Trump or whatever. But my friend, here, let me give you this. And I can't. Like I'll give you. No, I don't want to talk about money. I don't want to see it. It corrupts things. So I don't like it from people I like and love. You know what I mean?
I do. I absolutely do. It's been a hard thing. I'm gonna take a picture of us. Hello. It's been hard to sell. It is hard to sell things to people that I dig, but I do because it has a value, and it's hard not to. But it's just like I said, I don't mind not having that stuff. I don't miss anything. I miss the Geinstone because it was a cool that I would have held on to for as long as I could, or I would have put it somewhere I could visit. You know what I mean? It would be great to be able to visit that. Go, remember, because it was cool. I had a lot of time with that thing.
But what if someone came and took it like you did? Come out and smack it.
Sort of laugh about it. It's so ridiculous. It's a funny. I had it in my garden at some point, so I thought someone might have come out and stole it from the garden. So I think the whole thing's ridiculous. I did like that. It's a cool vibe to that thing. But I probably would have got rid of it, like I said, put it in a museum because I like as an artist. I think there's some people. I'm just like a natural with that stuff. I just want to share my stuff, So it's just like the story that I put in that book. The book I stole Ed Gein's Tombstone. It's like there's a story in there about mother issues, which is not the best to have to talk about with people.
Yeah,
it's not like this cool thing about me driving around in a crazy van with Gein's Tombstone. I could have made the book a lot different.
No, it's perfect. I mean, it is essentially 93 pages, but it's chock full of information, and there's full sections, there's interviews. Ed Gein even interviews you, and that's amazing to have him from beyond the grave.
And dude, AI is so fucked up.
It is fucked up, but it was on point.
So this AI knows me, the one I'm using, like I work with it. And so I said, I'm going to load in all these. Here's a bunch of links to Ed Gein videos. Here's a bunch of the interviews. Here's some PDFs of books. I want you to get to know Ed Gein. I do it for the long thing, so it takes a long time. It doesn't just spit out answers. There's a setting where it'll study for intense amount of time. I said, study this, and I want to have a conversation back and forth with Ed Gein, like an interview, but I don't want him to ask me 10 questions at once. I want it to go question me, answer, question me, answer. And so we do that, and I'm like, I really didn't really appreciate that. AI is way too smart to tangle with. So it's like, it started to suck me into this mother issue thing. And I was like, son of a bitch, how did it get that out of me? But it did.
It's the new therapy. It's cheaper. You could do it from home, and they're not going to report you. So this guy's fucking needs to be locked up or something.
I don't know about not reporting. This stuff is all hardwired into all these systems. Like they talk about, they use AI against people in court now.
Really?
Cases, yeah.
Man, we're so screwed.
You got that right.
That's not good. At the things that are AI now, there's nothing real out there hardly anymore with videos. I've seen commercials where doctors give me advice and it's totally AI. It's not even a real fucking doctor.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But I also, the problem is that we have a real ignorant populace in America.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it is in Australia, but we have paywalls in front of education here. So unless you have money, you have no education. that's by design, because if you have no education, you can be taken advantage of all the time. And so that's the problem with AI. We don't have people that are truly skeptical or intelligent enough to source their information from multiple places. Like, so I have this,
Yep.
I work on this thing online called Truth Court. You check it out. It's a cool thing. But there was a case on there about AI and how it tells us lies. And I'm like, but you just source it. I use AI all the time, but I don't take ChatGPT's word for it. I ask Gemini, and I'll ask Anthropic. I'll ask them all the same questions, and I'll give them the answer that ChatGPT just gave me and say, proofread that, check this out. And so I use it. I use multiple sources for AI to come up with wow, that took me a little bit of time, but I think I now have the truth.
Yeah.
Truth.
Truth as we know it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Right.
I mean, there's so much more of you I can ask, and I don't take too much more of your time because you've done a lot, and like I said, I watched your videos. And I guess the only thing I could say, not to go on to the subject of Satanism, but I loved what you said about groups coming together to do good for the community, whether it's gathering feminine products for women or helping the homeless. I like that you can do it without having the good guy badge. When I heard that today, and I don't want to say names of organizations and whatnot, but I love the occult. I love to study all religions, and I like to see people come together. But what you said about that, we don't have to say which group. It's like, that's how I felt about it. That's how I feel too.
I'll say the names. I was a founder of the Satanic Temple, and I'm a friend of Anton LaVey, the person who wrote the Satanic Bible. I was the last person he made a priest in the Church of Satan, and when he does that, that means he gave me authority to speak for his Bible, his Satanic Bible, and his belief. So I got authority to speak about Satanism that no one in the Satanic Temple has, and that counts for something. It most certainly counts for these Ivy League pricks that run the Satanic Temple. When they wave their diploma in front of people, they say, I have authority. I have this diploma. Well, I have authority too, and it comes from Anton LaVey himself, and that's a rare one. And I'm old, and anyone who's touched Anton LaVey's hand, we're old. We're going to be dying off soon. There'll be none of us left. So we actually have an authority to speak for that stuff.
Definitely.
And I think when you speak of Satanism, it isn't a group thing, and it isn't about talking about it. It's about doing stuff. Right. But one thing Satanism is about finding out your imagination and your dreams and expressing them or manifesting them. It's not about joining a group and manifesting a group idea or a group project, or it's not about that. It's about what are you about, and how can you make that seen, or how can you hide it, like Ed Gein? How can you express it? How can you feel it? It's about you and your imagination. It's not about following other people's imagination.
I could see that. I tried to join different groups. Like I was a Freemason for a while.
Ooh.
And nothing against them. To me, it's just I won't fit in with any group, no matter if it's Christians, Catholics, Satanists, Masons. I don't fit.
Anton LaVey would say you're a real Satanist.
Yeah,
because I said the same thing to him. I said the same exact thing to him when I met him. I was like, yeah, I'm not into anything like that. Same shit.
Right.
Like, I don't join nothing. I'm a Shaneist. I believe that my religion is Shane. And he laughed the whole time. He's like, yeah, right. I get it. I get you. So.
I used to joke. I said, because I've read the Satanic Bible, and I felt like the best thing that could have also came with it is at the end it should have a book of matches. You can burn it, and because you read it, you don't need it anymore, right?
Yeah,
it's a piece of literature, and any book should come that way, except for not this one. Don't burn this one, please.
Oh, I like books to get passed along. I like the idea that books are like babies. They have a life of their own.
Yes.
And you can make I published for 30 years. And I love the idea that if I put out 1,000 books, it has 1,000 stories. 1,000 people are reading it and interpreting it their way. No matter how the groupthink doesn't work with the book, even in a book study. So you're taking this book and you're giving it a life of your own through your own lens. And then you hand it to someone else and it has another life. And books are wonderful like that. That's why that people do burn them. That's why they are scary. That's why they are under attack in America right now, because they're so powerful. I love
Catcher in the Rye. I've read that book many times. I'm not inspired to do shit. What's wrong with this book? Because it had individuality. It scared people.
Yeah.
That book has a history, even with Robert Bardo. We can talk about him because he comes on our show once in a while. Because he had the book with him, and so did John Lennon's killer. Had the Cats on Ride with him, and they're both stalker concerns. And people are saying that Robert Bardo had that book because he was inspired. I don't remember the shooter of John Lennon. He actually did go to New York, I believe.
Mark David Chapman.
Yeah, Robert Bardo. I think he wrote him too. So unless Robert Bardo's in denial, he said he only had that book with him because it was small enough to hold the picture of Rebecca Schaefer.
Oh, whatever.
Right. Whatever.
It had meaning. It
had meaning. It's too coincidental. But yeah.
Well, his eyes picked it. There was probably, that was not the only book he had a choice from, guaranteed, that hold a picture. Yeah. His eyes saw it and he picked that book even impulsively. Yeah. There was a meaning there, whether he knows it or not.
And he tossed it as he's running down the alleyway. Yeah, it's
that story I remember happening. I remember there was his video clip in his testimony going, no, repeating what that woman said when she passed away, and that was terror. Like for me, I remember watching that feeling terrorized, or like, oh, that's rough. That's not cool to think about. Those things stay in your head too. That's the hard part about studying what we study too.
Yeah.
Is it doesn't leave our head. And, at some point it could cause paranoia, or, you could look at people as all rotten. And I did for quite a number of years until I went on this road trip and drove around the country. And this was, 15 years ago. I did a movie about it. And it was the first time Obama ran for office. I called the book Politics, Art, Religion, Revolution of the Suffering and Celebration of Life in America. And I went around thinking people were rotten. And I would stay with people every two or 3 days at a stranger's house. And I found out people are not rotten. They're pretty decent. No one was a Satanist that I stayed with. They had all these different beliefs. And I would tell them I was an atheist. And they were all they were cool. They were cool. They're just, like, I don't want to say harmless, but they're not looking to have war. They're not looking to have problems with people. They're just looking to live their life and believe what they believe. And so I found people to be really decent. And for the, I study the dark side of human beings, so I get how awful they can be. And that nice person could be a fucking liar to my face and cutting up people in the shed, whatever. But that's also part of our existence. But in general, people are decent,
I agree. It is. I'm glad you brought that up because I do have that paranoia, especially with my kids.
Yeah.
Nothing good happens after midnight. Well, it does, but not for a 16-year-old. You just putting yourself out there. And they say, you're just paranoid, Dad, because of all the people you talk to and all the true crime stuff. I'm like, I am paranoid. It's true. I'm always, my boy recently was spend the night with his friends and I said, I need a video chat. I need to meet the dad. And that's just standard stuff. You have to talk to the parents.
Yeah, right.
And the dad gets on and I almost feel like I should screenshot it and memorize his face in case something happens. I'm like, I am fucking paranoid. And I was trying to profile him.
As Abe Simpson would say, if you're not paranoid, you're not paying attention.
Yeah, that's true. You got to pay attention to details. You have to know what they're driving because God knows.
Paranoia keeps you on point.
Yeah.
Or
That's what some guy told us on Hollywood Boulevard, told Kim when we're there.
Okay.
Remember that? He's walking past, he's like, paranoia keeps you on point.
Keeps you on point. Or is it the Kinks who saying paranoia will destroy you?
I think being aware keeps you on point. Paranoia keeps you isolated. Yeah. And I've been paranoid.
That's true.
Yeah.
I have my own psychological issues. I go to therapy and I get treated for it. And so I know that when I have experienced paranoia, it keeps me isolated. And that's no way to live life. It's a sad way to live life, isolated. Life is good. Life is short. And you should get out there and see the squirrels and smell the flowers and laugh and wave at a neighbor,
Very true.
Life is good.
Movies. Don't be scared of going to the movies.
Yeah, right. Enjoy life. enjoy it while you can. And I don't mean just because life is short, but something bad can happen in your life that's going to change it. Like, if that's what happened, all of us are going to have something that's going to change our makeup, our chemical makeup, because it's awful. And we have to live through it. And we have to survive it. And so enjoy your life before one of those things happens. I'm old enough to have enough things happen like that where I'm like, I'm going to enjoy today before I get bad news tomorrow.
If you're paranoid, you never would have taken that tombstone. And it was on the roadway of a great story and further adventures. Like, did you have other adventures before that? I mean, anything else that stuck out prior to that moment?
As a young man, I was crazy and I had no fear. So I can't, all the time. That was all right. I'm the kid who went around town. At Christmas, they have these fucking Christmas scenes of the last, whatever, or the baby birth of Jesus. So they got all the three wise men and the baby Jesus in a crib and Mary and Joseph. And I would go around and steal baby Jesus and put him in meat lockers at all the grocery stores. And I'm like, there was a newspaper article, 40 baby Jesus were stolen last night. And I'm like, yeah, that was me. So I was just, total Bart Simpson, total troublemaker.
Harmless crime.
Total hell, I would do donuts in people's yards. I'd do all that kind of stuff.
Wasn't Marilyn Manson, he would put a ham in place of the baby Jesus in those nativity scenes?
Really?
I think he did.
But like I said, I went to Gacy's place when they were digging up looking for clues and stuff, evidence. So I've always been interested in this stuff. Always been interested in weird shit. And it's always about I think there's something about I have spectrum issues they talk about, and I've had that, been diagnosed since 50 years ago. So it's like, there's something about just wanting to know the truth, the integrity of a story, reading between the lines and going, there's something missing in this article about Gacy. So I would drive my bike up there to see more and hear more, and I heard more, and I want to know more. And it just set off that chain of command where I want to know the entire fucking story. And why aren't you telling me the entire story? Why is this edited? Why are you withholding information? And that there's my biggest drive.
Do you think it goes towards your, I don't know if you call it your metaphysical, religious beliefs? It seems like some of those that choose a certain path of religion, having a certain, maybe a blind faith, you just kind of rely upon what people tell you, and you don't question things. But
that definitely is part of my hatred for the religious thinking.
Yeah.
I don't mind ideas, philosophical ideas, but religions where philosophy goes to die, it becomes a rule and people follow it and believe it. Yeah, it does bother me deeply, that kind of stuff. But I'm a Shaneist, as I told LeVay. I just follow whatever drug me along in life, and it doesn't make friends all the time. It has made me an outcast, got me run out of town, makes life a lot harder than people who went to law school or people took a career. It has made my life a lot harder and at times lonely. But when I think about it, I wouldn't want it any other way, because sort of like, you live on your feet or you die on your knees. I'm just being myself. Yeah. And if people don't like it, fuck them. I'm just being myself. And I love people. I want to. Yeah, I agree. I don't know what to say about that. I love people. I love to engage in conversations. I love what we're doing here. I love what you're doing. So I'm full of love. And so a lot of people see that a lot of what I do is dark or hate filled, and fuck them. I don't know. I'm too old to care anymore. It's like, you're lost.
None of us should be pigeonholed into a box. We just can't. I couldn't sit there and say, you must feel this way and do this way. And that's not my personality. There's no way I can't shut that part off of my brain. I don't know how you guys can. And I know folks who partake.
And I know I'm fun at a party. I do a lot. I have a lot of good stories. You invite. I'm have good stories. I'm gonna bring a cool salsa that I made. I'm a fun guy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Sharon, do you have any questions, thoughts?
No, I don't. But I do have to read the book, don't I?
You have to read the book.
I'll have to get a copy of the book.
What I'll do is I'll take a video. I'll send it to you. I'll make
bedtime stories. No, read it and record you reading it, and I'll listen to it when I go to bed.
Yeah, we can do bedtime stories in my voice.
I can send you one of these press copies I have. I have a handful of those. I could send you one if you want to send it to her.
Cool. Yeah.
To them. I don't know.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you need to read it.
Oh.
Well, Shane, thank you for joining. This is
Look at me
great.
fixing my hair in the camera now.
Yeah, I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a thrill talking to y'all. I'm really, really happy to talk with you, and I hope you keep doing what you're doing. It's really cool.
It's nice to meet you.
Yes, definitely nice to meet you.
And vice versa. And everyone should go buy that wonderful book, I Stole Ed Gein's Tombstone, on sale now, Amazon.
Yeah, we're going to keep promoting it. And
Ed Gein Fan Club.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm a member. It does say sign in red blood. Don't use a red pen, you pussy. Okay, I won't. It's going to be. Oop, it stuck there earlier.
You know, it does say that it says your name is a member in Ghoul standing and is entitled to admission to the grave without fear of their grave being robbed. This is your card. It's great. It has magic attached to it.
That's cool. You still have these cool trinkets available, or is it kind of, should they hurry up, buy it before
if they buy them from edgeinfanclub.com, they get the trinkets.
Cool.
You know, if they buy it from Amazon, they don't get the trinkets.
Yeah. Buy from Amazon, man. Yeah, I know you'll get it in 2 days, but you're not getting all this cool stuff. You're not getting it autographed and stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
You just have the headstone now. Now, how did it come to you?
A couple fans of the book that I published had taken it out of the cemetery, I guess. They told me the story Saturday night as they were showing it to me.
Right.
They felt it was, they were at the stone visiting it, and they saw it was the face that said, like, I pleasure myself, your picture on the stone, 666, evil never dies.
Right.
And they thought it didn't fit there, and they thought it would fit better in my possession.
Is this headstone made of actual heads? And are you a Satanist?
I am.
You are.